Greetings, internet world. You're in the Beat Sessions, your place for all things music. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's talk about one of the greats in De La Soul and their record, Cabin in the Sky. They released that on November 21st. This is the 10th studio album for the trailblazing hip-hop act and their follow-up to 2016's And the Anonymous Nobody. The trio of Trugoy, Maseo, and Posdnuos have been making music together for almost 40 years now, dropping their legendary debut, 3 Feet High and Rising, back in 1989, and pushing the boundaries of hip-hop with their jazz and alternative-fused style, eclectic sampling, and eccentric lyrics that really have spearheaded the continuous evolution of the genre. And almost a decade after their last release, Cabin in the Sky picks up where they left off. Another superb addition to a catalog that really borders on flawless, but this time it's a bittersweet affair after the death of Dave Trugoy the Dove back in 2023. Dave's family encouraged Pos and Maseo to keep De La Soul alive, that if they stop, then Dave stops. And I think I can speak for every fan when I say it's great to see them press on and celebrate the life of their friend with this record, incorporating previously unreleased vocals from Trugoy. Grieving is a complicated process, and everyone approaches it in their own way. And while I think the decision to make this album was an easy one for Pos and Maseo, there's no doubt that its actual creation was vastly complex and difficult. And I think that that is where the brilliance of the record lies, and you can feel that from start to finish. The catharsis, the energy, every featured artist on this album working through their pain and loss, reflecting on the impact that their brother had on their lives and the larger musical landscape, and the joyous celebration that Cabin in the Sky is. In an interview with Hip Hop DX, Pos stated that, quote, "When we lost him, I came and got Maseo out of the hole. We were all broken, but I kind of took on that role in Beat Street where I was like, yo, man, we got to treat Dave like Ramon. We got to keep him alive. We got to celebrate him." And he goes on to say that, quote, "Of course, we have songs with Dave on it, but yo, for me, and I'm sure there are people here who are spiritual and understand what I'm saying, it feels like Dave's here for me. He's here. There are times where I'm writing rhymes and I'm getting goosebumps because I feel like Dave would be saying, yo, that's dope," end quote. It's a poignant sentiment, and it's felt immediately with the intro Cabin Talk, where Giancarlo Esposito leads a roll call of all the collaborators, finishing with Pos, Maseo, and then Dave, who obviously doesn't answer any of the calls as his name fades into "You Don't Stop," and just hitting us with a spirited banger right out of the gate with that incredible line, "When it's Pos and Maseo, you see the magic will always remain three." Takes a dark moment and turns it right around into the joyous and uplifting experience that this record is, exploring family, friendship, and faith. I love the line from The Package where Pos spits, "Step to us with the Goliath, we got a David right here," exemplifying the variable thematic qualities their music brings to the hip-hop scene within the span of a few seconds. I feel like they've always kind of been outcasts in this scene, creating hip-hop that celebrates life, faith, and the pursuit of peace and harmony with nimble, buttery rhymes and wordplay that feel like they have so much added depth with the jazz-driven and experimental sophistication of their music. They've never been afraid to criticize and create art in opposition to the often violent and careless direction that much of this music in the genre resides in. They are thought-provoking and philosophical in their approach, and their graceful and sometimes absurd sense of humor makes their music even more captivating. Cabin in the Sky incorporates all of this into an emotional journey of the beauty and heartache that comes with carrying on in the face of tragic loss, demonstrating that they are still trailblazers, still ahead of their time. I mean, I just think of the title Artificial Intelligence alone, a record that was released back in 2000, and it's wild in the context of the here and now. Cabin in the Sky is a record from a group that have fine-tuned their musicality through the decades with fearless evolution and growth, an intensely immersive experience and one that I think immediately deserves consideration as one of the best in their catalog. Cabin in the Sky is the sixth installment in the Mass Appeal Records Project Legend Has It series. It's a year-long celebration of some of New York's biggest hip hop icons, and I love what has been going on this year with this project. Album also takes its title from the 1943 musical film of the same name that includes cameos from Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington, an appropriate homage on many fronts, I think. The majority of the album's production was handled by De La Soul, along with DJ Premier, Pete Rock, and Supa Dave West, and includes assistance from a number of other producers, including Eric of Little Dragon, which, I mean, this has to be a career highlight for him considering that outfit's love for De La Soul's music. There's an all-star list of featured artists, including Nas, Q-Tip, Slick Rick, Common, Killer Mike, and Black Thought, among many others who helped them navigate this extraordinary 20-song collection. The music is outstanding, integrating cinematic orchestral arrangements that combine classic pop, funk, and retro soul through the tracks that are so full and lush, but also like just so brilliant in their minimalism. Songs like Sunny Storms, The Package, and Different World. I love the balance of tracks that have that classic De La groove like Just How It Is and the penultimate title track. And then elsewhere, there are tracks that feel a bit more contemporary, like Good Health and Yours. And of course, it wouldn't be a De La Soul record without a great number of samples, and there's some awesome ones here. My favorites are Run It Back, which features Nas, and a great bit from the Police song Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. Different World, which interpolates a bit from the Four Tops hit I'm in a Different World, and Cruel Summer's Bring Fire Life, which uses a sample from the Bananarama hit Cruel Summer, while also demonstrating how their experimentalism has helped them stand out over the years. I love the seismic shifts that some of these tracks take, and often enhanced by segments of poetry and spoken word that dial into their signature flair. At 70 minutes, it doesn't overstay its welcome, and I think the double vinyl does the continuity of this record a great service, creating 4 captivating chapters that make navigating this journey all the more enjoyable. I'm so happy to see them continue to make music. You think about the impact that they've had, the artists that have followed in their footsteps, Kanye West, Outkast. I think of The Roots, Black Star, Jay Dilla, MF Doom, Pharrell Williams. There's so many people I feel that are indebted to De La Soul for what they've brought to the table and what they continue to bring to the table. It's tough to tell if this is going to be their last record. I don't know how many more unreleased recordings they have of Trugoy that they could utilize. But this record is beautiful. It is a phenomenal celebration of life, of an incredible legacy of a man who really, as part of this trio, turned hip hop on its head and really brought something big and incredible to the table with it, showing how much bigger it could be as a genre, how much more it could branch out and incorporate and really build on. And all the artists I've mentioned, there's so many more throughout the years that have really taken hip hop into an incredible place. And me personally, I love anything that really works with that jazz influence that has just been such a big part of their sound. But I'd say that that's where this record is really fun too, is that you still are witnessing them grow, witnessing them develop the orchestration, the classic pop element that runs throughout this record is beautiful, and I think it's so appropriate given what they are doing here thematically with this album. This, honestly, this is my favorite record of the year. This is such an incredible album. I mean, I never thought I would do this, but I'm going to give this record a 10 out of 10. I feel like it's so hard to make a perfect record, but this album is an incredible experience. The music, the lyricism, everything that De La Soul has done so well throughout the years, I feel like is just top notch on this record. And I mean, just I love it. I'm so emotionally stirred by what I've listened to over the weekend with this album. And I mean, even if you're not a hip hop fan necessarily, I doubt if you're not that you would have made it this far into the review. But for those of you who don't really listen to a lot of hip hop, I think that this is the type of project that is worth giving your time and really might open you up to some other incredible artists who I would say, again, probably wouldn't be doing what they're doing without the influence of De La Soul. This is the album of the year for me. I am just gonna say it. I cannot wait to go to the record store later today and scoop this up on vinyl. Really just very pleased with this project. And I hope that all of you enjoy listening to this and that you feel the same when it comes to an end. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help me blow this project up. You can hype videos now, so I appreciate that for all of you who want to do that. And if you're feeling generous, drop a super chat. All of that is really helpful in just helping me blow this project up in 2025. Stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews, and we will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.